All right, here we are in part 3 of the case study, and it's an exciting part because now we're going to learn about the inside of Rev Content. Now, anyone who has actually taken any training or been on Rev Content for the last few months, you are either taking outdated training or you have noticed there has been some major changes in how they deliver traffic, okay? And how we buy traffic from Rev Content. So what I want to do is cover that in this part, and we're going to cover how to set this campaign up with your most likelihood, to come out successful. Okay. So what I want to do first is I want to, as you noticed, I've only added one landing page. Now I'm going to add another landing page, but first I want to remind everyone: don't forget that we have this mastermind thread here in the forum. So if you have any questions, there's already been a couple questions come through, but if you have any more, please post them in here. It is completely private. Anyone that tries to send me emails or anything like that through Facebook Messenger, you're not going to get any response because I need to make sure that I'm focusing my time and effort on helping people that are actually paid members of Powerhouse Affiliate. So I don't respond to emails and I don't respond to private messages in Facebook. That is why I use this channel to help and tutor anyone that wants information, but at the same time I like to engage in conversation. So if you have the knowledge that somebody else needs, please share it, and I would love to see some replies and answers, not just questions. That would be great. So please come in here and take part in the forum, and that is how we will all learn and engage and make more money together. Okay, so now let's go back into this campaign. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add another landing page, and the landing page is going to be a completely different angle than what this one is. Now, if you recall in the last part of the training, this is the landing page we're going to use. It's thousands of Canadians hit the jackpot because of this one trick. And as you scroll down, you actually get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tips on how to, increase your odds and all that kind of stuff. And then you can click through and go to the offer. Now, what I want to also do is I want to do a completely different page so I can split test them. And the next page is going to be a completely different page where I'm going to talk about a person that actually won and how they were able to, do that. And I'm allowed to do this when I go to the casinos page or search for Yukon Gold actual winners. This is the one we're running. You just go to Google, search for real stories of real winners, and you can do up a story similar to this, and that's what I'm going to use. So I'm going to be split testing 2 pages, okay? So in order to split test, I would simply just click add landing page, and then I would put the landing page name and the URL, and then I can select here equals if I want to do even shares, or I can set a percentage here, 100%. But I'm going to go 50-50 on this. So I'm going to enter the actual landing page. This is the second version. So if you want to make your own variation, this is where you're going to improve your chances of success. If you just go ahead and copy this lander that I've given you, or that's inside Powerhouse Affiliate, we have other examples, then your chances of success are going to be less than if you use some creativity, edit them, and make it your own, okay? That is always the case no matter what you do. The more original you can be and the more creativity you use, the more likelihood of success for you and all of your future campaigns. So I have gone ahead and saved that second landing page, and now here we are at campaign URL Casino Canada, and what I want to do is I want to grab my link, and away we go. We are going to set this up inside Rev Content, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into Rev Content and explain the settings and things you need to consider so you don't lose your shirt in the first campaign you set up. So here we are inside. I set a couple campaigns up earlier, and I turned them off just so that we could see what's going on here. But let me just go through creating a campaign from scratch, okay, and what you need to consider. Now, back in the day, Rev Content would allow you to use a whitelist or a blacklist. You could add it yourself, and this helped you avoid spending too much money. And they knew that there was a problem with their traffic because a lot of the publishers that they have had in here were actually, fraudulent clicks and stuff like that, which was one of the main reasons why I had stopped running traffic here in the past. Now I'm actually running it now because they've actually made some really, really good changes to how the system delivers our ads. Now, before, you may have heard me talk about runaway widgets and all that kind of stuff, but now what they've done is they've actually implemented some new changes. So let me discuss a couple of the changes as we go through. So the auto campaign was an old feature. It's still there, but they're not really focused too much on it as I've been told. Okay, so don't use the auto feature right now. Basically, it was their automated algorithm to try and show our ads to the most likely people that would convert, and we would set a pixel and all that stuff. However, now it's more of a manual approach, but they've also got some automated systems in place to detect fraud. They have third-party tracking and internal fraud filters and click verification systems to improve the overall network quality. So we're not going to have as many runaway widgets as we used to, okay? So there's some good news for us as people that are buying the traffic. Now, they've also implemented a distribution system where we're only limited to about less than 10% of the widget's volume until we manually adjust the widget level bidding, okay? And I'm going to show you that in a bit once we get into the campaign and we start setting this up. But what this basically means is when we set up our budget, it's not going to blast all our budget into one widget. So again, the runaway widget syndrome, which I called it before, is going to be less likely now with this new distribution system, so that they kind of spread our traffic across many widgets in order for us to see which ones are converting, at which point we can go into those and then increase the bid or ask for more distribution on those specific widgets. Now, a widget, if you don't know what I mean, is the actual ID number of where our ad is being placed out somewhere on the internet on another third-party website. So CNN would have a widget of all of the ads from Rev Content that they want to put, and that widget would have an ID number. And that is what we're tracking. We want to know where our widgets are, okay? And one of the newest features that is, I think, is one of the best things they've done is they've also added in the capability to see the actual URL of where our ads are performing, okay? So not only before all you could see was a 5-digit number. So you'd see like 1, 2, 6, 7, 5. And that would be all you had to base your decision on, okay? And whether you wanted to pause or activate or increase your bid on that. Now you're going to see the actual URLs. So that's another excellent feature. So all in all, it should have less fraud, less runaway widgets, and you can test more evenly across the network at a small scale. Before, you had to actually spend a ton of money to get the data you needed because you were actually paying a lot of money into these runaway widgets. So good news. Let's start setting this up. That is a brief overview of some of the changes. They do have a couple other changes, but nothing really crazy. They've implemented a budget overage protection, because before, if you set your budget at $500 a day, sometimes it would go up to $900 or $1,000, just because they couldn't control how fast they paused your ads. Now they've fixed that as well. So moving on, we're going to call this one Casino Canada Test. Now the bid amount I'm going to set here at a cool 18 cents. So keep in mind, to avoid any confusion. Now, if I wanted to set CPA ROI, I would set up a conversion pixel, and the conversions would come into Rev Content. I'm going to use CPA ROI because I want to use a conversion pixel so that I can send back the data into Rev Content. So essentially, I will have my conversions showing in Rev Content, but I'll also have them showing in my CPA network and in my third-party tracker, so I can compare cross-section of data. So I'm going to select CPA ROI, and what you'll want to do is you want to create your first pixel. You can name this, again, Casino Test. Now here, essentially, you would want to put the amount that you're getting, or a little less. It doesn't really matter at this point. I'm going to put $10. It kind of gives you a rough estimate. If you're getting 15, if your goal is to get it at 10, then you would set 10 so that you're making some profit here. I'm just going to set it at 10. It's not going to make any difference in the delivery as far as I can tell. Brand logo, I'm going to leave that. Scheduling, start now. I'm going to leave it on topic. Brand is a different story altogether. I'm just going to leave it on topics for now. And topic targeting, I'll use all for now, but I can go in and pause them once I set this up. Include only the one country you want to focus on. If you want to test more countries, I highly recommend you set them up in an individual campaign, okay? Because you're going to get a cross-section of data coming into your tracker, and you're not going to really be able to effectively know which country is doing best. I mean, you can, but it's just going to be more headache. So just do one campaign per country, or one country per campaign. I'm going to include all regions. You can pause certain states or provinces or whatever you want to do here. Leave it for now. For this offer, I'm going to choose mobile and tablet. All operating systems for now. I can come back again later and pause. And I will choose English since this is an English focus. But again, I was mentioning before that Canada does have French. So we're bilingual bilingual country, so you could target French only and run a French landing page and French ads, and you may actually perform quite well because probably most people are too lazy to do that. Most people that speak English are just going to focus on English. So less affiliates are probably running French, so you have a better chance of succeeding. Now here's an important step, tracking code. Click on this little icon over here and make sure you select these so that it sends this data to our tracking link, and then just click build tracking code. And that is the final step for this part, so just click save, and now we're going to move into setting up the actual ads and targeting. So here are some previous ads I had before. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select my ads, and then I'll show you a few of them and why they will work for me. Now I have a whole bunch here. I'm not going to show them all because I have other campaigns in here, and I don't want you to see everything, or else I would just kind of be competing with the world. So, but I'm going to show you this campaign, and that was my promise, and I'm going to show you the ads and what actually works and why. Okay, so I've added the ads in here, and now I want to show you what I've done here. I find that using images that are very attractive obviously are going to get you a higher click-through rate, which is here, the CTR. If you have a high click-through rate like 0.03 or better, or 0.3 or better, then it's going to get you a lot more delivery and cheaper clicks. The higher click-through rate, the more delivery you're going to get, so you're going to pay less. It's just the way the algorithm works. The system rewards people for getting clicks on their ads. So what I use is cash picks in this because I'm running a lead type of offer for, you know, make money kind of deal, right? So if you're running any other type of financial or stuff like that, or ways to save money, then usually pictures of cash work quite well, or somebody holding money or anything like that, celebrating. I could have a person celebrating here, a whole bunch of different ways to do this, okay? And then what I also implement is this squiggly bracket, city squiggly bracket, which is like the dynamic insertion. You can use a state, city, country, whatever you want, and this ad will actually automatically populate the user's city in there. So if I was looking at this ad from Toronto, then it would say another unclaimed jackpot in Toronto, okay? And then somebody would click on it, and then it would have the ad. It would go to the actual story or the landing page that I've created. So as you can see, I made a couple general ones here. I had one here, casino managers are furious, 5 new tips to beat the casinos. So that completely matches the landing page that I showed you earlier. And I also have one, easiest money she ever made, unclaimed jackpot. So this is the story about the winner, okay? The person that won all that money, or easiest money she ever made. So this is the type of aggressive ads that are allowed on this network. Now, obviously, this is only one network, and I would not recommend doing this on Facebook because they will just immediately ban your account. These are types of ads that are only allowed on certain ad networks that allow publishers to, you know, use these types of aggressive angles. And this is the thing about CPA offers. Many times you're running really aggressive ads and angles, okay? This is a completely different way of doing affiliate marketing than your typical set up a nice niche site and get organic traffic. This is, you're going in, you're going for direct response. You need people to come to your landing page and convert. And there's so many lines that you have to, you know, consider before crossing them. And so in this case, it's very close to a super aggressive ad. So keep that in mind. Sometimes you will not be approved. Sometimes the advertiser will not be happy if you go too aggressive because the quality will suck. So keep in mind that if you're running a CPL lead offer, that your ads potentially could lead you to a lower payout, okay? or completely being paused. So the more you lie and the more you go aggressive, the less likelihood the quality will back out for the advertiser. So do not go too aggressive. Believe me, you'll be paused and no one will be happy in the grand scheme. So just keep that in mind. So what I need to do is edit my links here. I'm just going to show you quickly how you would create an ad. So if you were just to create one, you would click on content, so add content here, and you would click on add new up at the top, and you would put the email, you would put the URL here. This is the URL from the CPV Lab campaign URL. Now if you're using BMob, it's going to be the same thing. You have to have these same widgets. So I believe in BMob they have a template already created for Rev Content. So you create the traffic source, Rev Content, and they'll have the template already for you. So you just create the campaign link, and then you will be able to get the same exact style of link with these important pieces, which is target equals or whatever equals widget ID. You need that. You need the content ID and the advertiser targets. So what I'm going to do is just paste that link in here. And as you can see, I have it in there. So I'm going to hit submit, and then they're going to fetch an image from the landing page. And here we go. Now I can select either mobile app, video, or article. In this case, we're running an article. If you're running a video sales page, you could use video, and you could put a play button on your image to give it a little more click-through rate. But in this case, we're using an article. So in the headline, you need to capitalize the first letter of every word to expedite your approval. So I would put biggest jackpot ever won in city. Okay? Whoops, I have my friggin' caps on. One sec. Biggest jackpot ever won in city. And I'll fix the typing here. 1 second. And then put an exclamation. Now I could put a call to action if I wanted. I could put click here for story or whatever, you know what I mean? But I'm going to leave it right now. I'm going to change that maybe to I'm trying to kind of almost have like a clickbaity type of title here. So biggest jackpot ever won in city, claim yours, maybe. Claim your piece of the prize, maybe. There we go. And there we go. So here I need to put the brand, which is the actual offer brand. So in this case, it's Yukon Casino. And I'm going to change the photo to another cash pick. So let me just get one here. Let's use this one here. A nice big wad of cash. And we'll open that. Waiting for it to load. Okay. So there we go. There's the cash pick, and we're going to submit that. So that is how you would submit your ad. Now you just sit back and wait. Now I'm just going to edit my links here because these ones probably have the wrong links. So if I wanted to do that, just come in here and I can edit the ad before it's approved, or after it's approved, you can edit it as well. As soon as you edit an ad, it will go back into review. Okay, so all of my links are up to date, and now all I do is I sit and wait. And now once I get approved or not approved, I need to come in and either change my ads, or I need to immediately watch and make sure I'm not getting, you know, a complete loss right away. If you see a widget going crazy, make sure you pause it. Now I'm going to show you that in a minute here, but there are two more completely important steps that you need to do. So go back to the settings and remember that pixel that we were talking about. I'm going to grab that pixel, casino one, and I want to get the actual code here. So let me just get that. Actually, where is the code here? It's not working. Ah, there we go. Okay, so grab that, copy it, and you need to bring that to your CPA network, which in this case is going to be the Vault Media network, into your offer settings. So let me just get in there for 1 second. Okay, now when you're in here, you're going to want to go to Postbacks. So click on that Postbacks section here. And what we need to do is we need to add that in as a postback here, so that we can ensure that Rev Content is getting the data back from our network that there was a conversion. So what I've actually done is I've already done that, but I'm going to delete it so you can see exactly how to do it yourself. So I'm going to delete it. Now, this is what you would do once you clicked on Postbacks. You would click Add Postback, And you want to select, you can do conversion type. That's what we're going to do here. If there was another event, then you would choose event, but this is what we're doing. So specific offer, you would select the Yukon Gold offer. And the one we're running here is 763. And the delivery method will be HTML. And you'll paste this code here. So every time now, you have to make sure you add that. So click add. Every time there's a conversion now, this network will notify Rev Content that a conversion occurred, and it'll tell Rev Content exactly where that conversion occurred so that we can see that data when we go into widget targeting. Okay, so I'm going to leave here. Actually, I made a mistake there. One sec. Stop that. So I do have to save this. Sorry. So make sure that's in there. Optimize for this pixel, and then hit save. And wait. Now when I go into my widget targeting, once it starts delivering, I should start seeing conversions in this column because I have that pixel implemented. Okay. Now one more important step here, like we have targeting set for all of the actual topics. These are the topics. Okay. You can leave it on all if you want, and it'll spend your budget a lot quicker, or you could pause them all and focus on ones that you think would work. Now you have push notifications here. Push is a good type of traffic. So what I'm going to do for myself, just to kind of save a little bit of time and money, is I'm going to pause all of them, and I'm going to open just a couple at a time. Okay? You don't have to go broad at first. You can always scale later. So start with one or two that you think might be good topics, and from that point, you can then decide, okay, maybe I want to go all of them. Maybe I want to try 2 more. Maybe I want to try 5 more, whatever. But it's up to you on how much patience you have and how much time you have and how much money you have. Okay? So for this, I'm going to turn on some push notifications. I want the editorial news on. You know, honestly, to be quite frank, a lot of these, you might think health and fitness might not convert on casino, but you'd be surprised. I do like the news topics here. So editorial, conservative news, you can turn those on. There's a couple more here, trending or tech gadgets. Any of these really. I'm going to turn on men's lifestyle too. Now, I might even try women's. So let's say I start with 6 topics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, you can go more or less. It's up to you. And then it'll just deliver on those topics once the ads are approved. Now I may have to increase my bid here to get some delivery, but we'll see what happens on that first round. Now last step, which is extremely important as well, is you want to add a blacklist in here. Now you won't have a blacklist right now because you probably, unless of course you have actually ran Rev Content before and you spent a lot of money testing like I have, then you likely will not have a blacklist, which is the widgets that we find that kind of eat up our budget and never convert, okay? You need to record those widgets, and when you do that, you can set your widget optimization up here, and you can have a campaign level blacklist, or you can have an account level blacklist. Now, usually when I find, if I'm running all the same type of campaigns, I'll keep it at the campaign level, but for the most part, I would just make it easy on myself and go with the account level blacklist. There's so many widgets in here that if you see a widget going crazy, there's a couple ways to tell if a widget sucks, okay? If you get an extremely high click-through rate, like 95 to 100% of people come to your ad and click through the landing page, that is an indicator of fraudulent traffic, okay? Sometimes that's a bot. It's just going through and clicking ads and clicking landing pages. So an extremely high landing page click-through rate in this case, to me, indicates it could be a bot. You need to make sure there's no conversions first, but at the same time, it could also be converting too. So those ones generally I'll put on an account level blacklist. As well, if I see a lot of clicks and no click-throughs on my landing page, that is another indicator that this is a very terrible widget. You need to blacklist that. So I actually have a list of widgets that is a blacklist, and I'm going to give it to you as a premium member that you can add in here. So you're just going to have to come in here and paste it. Now, below this video or in the case study section, you're going to see a link for a list of blacklisted widgets. These are widgets I have blacklisted. Now, hey, You can choose to use them or not. Maybe they're not bad for you, but for me, I spent a lot of money testing, and I am using that blacklist because I don't want to waste my time and money on those widgets that I know aren't going to convert. So just use that list if you want. It's again in this case study section. If you want and you don't believe me, then you can just throw them in there and just let it ride and set and create your own blacklist, which is also just as effective. You'll just be spending a little bit more money testing and tweaking until you find your own list. Now, this is a valuable list. This is a lot of data being purchased, okay? This is worth your membership alone. Trust me, I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in building this list of blacklist widgets. So to get that as a member is worth your membership for 2 years, in my opinion. So keep that in mind. And here we go. I'm going to add that in here in a few minutes. I'm going to go with an account level blacklist because I just know that these suck. So I'm just going to add those. Click add. And now you will see it loading because it is a big file of widgets. Now, if you can imagine all of the time I spent finding all of these widgets that sucked. Can you imagine how much money I spent on that? So hopefully you appreciate that. Hopefully it works for you. But that is a lot of widgets for you to block if you had to find them yourself and mine through all the data. So anyway, leave that in there. I can close that. Now you see I have 979 widgets that I've blocked. Okay, so now I'm just going to wait for this to be approved, and then we'll come into the next parts. So if you have any questions on the setup, on the targeting, or any other questions about this particular traffic source or any other traffic source for that matter, you know where to ask. Right in the forum. Please come on in, participate in the discussions, and we'll see what happens next.